Welcome to this video, and we'll be talking to Dan Monk, who's he's the director of astrophotography at the Kielder Observatory in Northumberland. So he knows his stuff about astrophotography. He pretty much teaches loads of people astrophotography, brings groups to the observatory. So he knows his stuff, and his editing style and his type of photography is right up my street. Nice landscape photography, nice bright colors. He's someone who I look to for their content, and I really, really like his content. So here we go. Just jump into it, and here's Dan Monk. So is it Northumberland? Is it kind of
Yes,
working from?
yes, I'm based in Northumberland. I'm originally from Tyne and Wear, so I'm from Sunderland, just south of Newcastle. But I moved to Northumberland about 8 years ago to be closer to Kielder Observatory, which is where I work.
Yeah.
So
So what
that's
do you
my.
do there?
Well, I'm the director of astrophotography.
What a job!
It's a cool title. It's a really,
That's a brilliant job.
it's a really cool title. But I've worked there as an astronomer for the last, well, nearly 10 years now.
Yeah,
And my main job is public talking, public speaking. So
nice.
doing events for the public to stargaze, because of course it's Kielder Observatory is located in the Northumberland Dark Sky Park.
Right,
So it's in a prime location to stargaze. So people come up
brilliant.
and we run events and we do talks and we inspire people to look at the night sky. Basically, is what we do.
Perfect. Right up my street. Yeah, I've just started to do talks up here to different light photography clubs,
Yeah,
and it's amazing how many. Well, obviously, there's quite a lot of astrophotographers in England, but see in Scotland, you think with all our dark skies and stuff, there's not many people kind of do astrophotography up here,
that's strange. That actually,
which
yeah,
is very weird.
yeah,
There is a few, obviously, but not as much as like England and the amount of dark skies we got up here.
yeah.
Mad. So when I like go around doing photography clubs, camera clubs, and they're always like, "Wow, I didn't think that's possible." I'm like, "Yeah, you live in Scotland. Come on, get
Yeah.
out of it." That's mad. So it's good to
Probably
see.
in the Highlands as well, aren't you? You in the Highlands? Is that where you
Yeah,
are?
so I'm like in Perth, which is kind of just above like Glasgow, Edinburgh sort of thing. So I'm kind of in the light pollution, but I'm luckily just like an hour away from, the dark skies. So it's not a big trip. I can pretty much get anywhere in Scotland within a few hours,
Yeah,
which is lucky enough. How's like the weather your area? Because we're always a bit battered up here by
yeah.
clouds.
I think it's just the same as the whole of the UK. To be honest, it's cloudy
Yeah,
most of the time.
yeah,
It's a frustrating hobby in the UK, isn't it? I often just wish I could jump on a plane every 2 weeks
pretty
and
much.
go somewhere else and
Yeah,
where it's
jeez.
actually clear.
How, yeah, how do you deal with like say the cloudy night? Do you just is that when you do talks and stuff inside, more?
Yes, at the observatory,
Mhm.
if it's a cloudy night, we'll do more theory based stuff. So we'll do a talk, or we've got
Yeah,
things like we've got a collection of meteorites. So we show people bits of moon rock, bits of Mars rock. So,
nice.
we've got like stuff we can still do on cloudy nights, but of course the
Yeah,
whole deal is when it's a clear night and people can come
yeah,
look through the
yeah.
telescope. That's the
It's the main
thing that
thing.
people love to do is looking through the scopes. Yeah.
Yeah, it looks like a brilliant observatory. I just see it like through like say your social media and stuff. It looks like really nice and well run. Like the closest one I've got is Dundee. Um, I don't know. It's really kind of every time I've gone there, it's kind of really kids based, which is nice. It's good to get the kids involved, but it's like if you're I want to do stuff.
Yeah, yeah,
There's more. You obviously do like quite advanced things sometimes as well. I'm sure you do kids things as well, but yeah, I
yeah,
think that's what's missing up here. Like a good observatory to do proper good stuff. I think there
yeah.
was in the Galloway, but I think that recently like burnt down somehow,
It did, yeah.
which was awful to see.
Yeah, it did. It was the Scottish Dark Sky Observatory, and I'd never actually been, but it looked fantastic.
Yeah, it looked really good.
It looked like a similar scale to Kielder Observatory. Actually, it was quite a big structure, and it had a.
Yeah, it looked beautiful.
I think they even had a bigger telescope than us as well. They had
Yeah,
I think they had like a 24 inch or something. I can't remember now, but they had quite a big telescope there. So
yeah. I was going to see when I remember waking up and seeing that. I'm like, oh Jesus, that's not very good. So I don't know
yeah,
if they're going to build a new one or whatnot. I'm not sure.
I have no.
Hopefully, no. So, like, do you travel about as well? Like, say, obviously you work as an astrophotographer. Do you just travel about as a hobby as well? So you've obviously been to La Palma.
Yeah, I do travel as a hobby. So as I said, I'm director of astrophotography at Kielder now. That is more based at Kielder. So
Yeah.
that is trying to progress our um, kind of astrophotography tuition to the public. So that's kind
Yeah.
of more what I do there is trying to running astrophotography events and just trying to get more people into it really is what I do. But
Yeah.
that's become a bit of a spin-off, if you like, of being an astronomer at Kielder. Is the photography side of it is something that I've kind of just picked up as a hobby and just self-taught and enjoyed
Yeah.
it. And I think when you're a stargazer, you naturally turn into a photographer because you
Yeah.
realize very quickly that when you look through a telescope, everything is quite fuzzy and faint and
Yeah.
yeah,
It's just black and white, pretty much.
exactly. Our eyes aren't very good in the dark, even with a big
Yeah.
telescope. So I
Yeah.
think you realize quickly that you need to get a camera on things, and then you start seeing more and more, and the camera picks up a lot.
Yeah.
But in my spare time, yeah, I do kind of personally go on personal holidays and
Yeah. It's great experiences traveling like on this. You see the world in a different light to everyone else.
absolutely right. And it takes you to places that people might not go to as well. So
Yeah.
places like La Palma in the background there, that was
Yeah.
a stunning location, and it's famously
Yeah.
great for dark skies and
Yeah. I think it's one of the most, every astrophotographer knows a La Palma,
absolutely. And it's
pretty much.
the observatories up there are fantastic. I mean,
Yeah.
I was lucky enough to get into the big observatory on La Palma
Nice.
and see the big scope there, and it was
Oh,
unbelievable.
it's definitely on the list. I'm trying to plan my next holiday, and I'm thinking, oh, we might go to like trying to say to a partner. I'm thinking of this island. It's lovely during the day, but in the night I might go somewhere, go up a hill. Is it easy enough access?
Yeah, I hired a car and drove up. And
Just drive up.
this picture here, because I'm sometimes a little bit lazy. This this location was about a 5 minute walk from a lay-by. so
Okay.
so it wasn't too difficult. When you've got all your heavy camera gear on, because I had Star Tracker, I had two tripods, I had two cameras. So when you've got all
Yeah.
that on, it's quite annoying to have to walk really
Yeah,
far.
100%. It's kind of puts me off. I know we've got like huge mountains in Scotland and stuff, and it's amazing to go, oh, I'll go and hike up a mountain, but if you've got all the gear, you're like, nah, I'll just kind of shoot it from below.
It's hard. It's
Much
funny you
easier.
should mention that. It's funny you should mention that because I had a bit of a spontaneous trip only last night. Hence why I've slept in until about 11 o'clock
Yeah.
today. I decided to go to the Lake District last night, which is
Right.
about a 1 hour 15-minute drive from here where I
Mm.
live. And I climbed up Helvellyn last night, which is one of
Yeah.
the bigger mountains in the Lake District,
Yeah.
and started climbing up as it was getting dark. Uh,
Nice.
I got to the top there and beautiful views. The sky was wonderful, and I set up a time lapse, and I got about 15 minutes of clear skies, and
Wow.
then it started to cloud over. So the time lapse, I've just had a quick look at it this morning, and
You're just
it's
like, nah.
it's just not long enough. So I climbed up that, and then it back down again. As I was coming back down, the sun was starting to rise, obviously, because it's such a
Yeah.
short night. So I
Yeah.
basically spent the whole night up Helvellyn last night. Uh,
Yeah.
and
It's the experience as well. It's a good,
it's an amazing experience, but I don't have much to show for it in regards to images.
well, every astrophotographer has many of them.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it can be frustrating at times when that happens. When you go to all that effort, carrying all that gear,
Yeah.
and yeah, but it's just the way it is, isn't it? It's the way it
Yeah.
is.
What were you shooting? Is it still a tiny bit dark there for a bit of Milky Way, or
Yeah,
like you get 15 minutes or something?
yeah. Surprisingly, we're getting the Milky Way for about an hour still.
Okay.
It's not astronomically dark now, but the sun, because the sun has to dip below 18 degrees
Yep.
to get astronomical darkness, but it's about 16 degrees it's dipping to, and it stays at about 16 degrees for about an
Yeah.
hour.
Yeah.
That's enough to get a good, decent bit of Milky Way. There's a slight hint of blue in the sky,
Yeah.
but
I can
apart
see through it. Yeah.
apart from that, it's fine. It's like just like you're shooting the Milky Way just before it gets dark, like
Yeah.
properly. It still looks
Yeah.
quite.
It does look cool. I think I've got a good few pictures of you can just see the twilight, but you can still make out the core. It looks awesome. This will make for a good picture.
And of course, when you've got that light as well, it means you can shoot at a lower ISO and you can shoot at shorter exposures because
Yeah,
still a little bit of light,
yeah,
and
better quality.
exactly, so you get better quality in your images. So it's
Yeah,
quite
good.
nice.
Well, because up here in Scotland, it's kind of not. I've not done anything this month because it's just a bit too light, and I'd rather get like a good hour or so to do different compositions and all that.
Yeah,
So I think we're just waiting for the Noctis and Clouds pretty much, which is, you know,
Noctilucent clouds.
mid to end June to whenever, July
Yeah,
sort of time.
we should start seeing them. I think by the end of May, really, if there's any displays. So I
Yeah,
like Noctilucent clouds. They are nice to
I love
catch.
them. Yeah,
Yeah,
it's good, something good in summer to do.
you
Yeah,
only
and
love
it's really
them. You only love them. It's all you can do in the summer, isn't it? So
pretty much all we can do, other than maybe a moonrise here and there or something. That's
yeah,
about it. But yeah, no, I liked it. But last year was quite. I can't remember much shows from last year. I think last year was quite down for shows. I think there was one good one, but I missed it. But there wasn't too many. I can't remember.
yeah. I didn't catch any last year. I
No,
did.
last year was quite a dip.
Yeah, well, there wasn't as many. But and also I tend to only catch Noctilus. I like Noctilucent clouds, but I don't really chase them like I would with the Northern Lights or the Milky Way or whatever.
Yeah,
Um, and I'll only really catch Noctilucent clouds if I'm already at the observatory at work.
yeah, and you're just there, and they're like, oh, nice.
Exactly. And I think last year, I think it always happened on my nights off, or it was
Brilliant.
cloudy or whatever. So yeah, it
Yeah,
wasn't. Yeah, last year.
yeah. I'm probably going to hunt a wee bit more. I want the clouds over like mountains and stuff. I've only kind of got them over countryside, so it'd be good to get them over mountains.
Yeah.
I think you mentioned that not Northern Lights. You've had a good few shows this year. I've seen a good amount of rays around your observatory.
Yeah, we've had some decent ones. The most notable one for me was the 2nd of October 2022 was the last. It was the last good one where we had a clear night in.
Yeah,
Yeah, that was good. And I know we've had some really good displays since then, but at Kielder
yeah.
it seems to be cloudy. So
Nice.
we haven't seen those really good displays like that one that we had. When was it? About a month ago,
Yeah,
where it was overhead and it
yeah.
was
I remember that 1 month ago. I didn't go out because it was like partly cloudy, and I'm sick of clouds. So I'm just like, nah, I'm not going to go out. But I see online people got phenomenal images. I'm like, Jesus. And I picked a wee bit up in the middle of Perth, and like a wee purple pillar and stuff. Did you capture that show?
I got one image where I
Yeah,
was at Kielder and we had about maybe 1 minute of clear sky
yeah.
overhead. So
Was it?
I just camera quickly and pointed it up and took a
Yeah.
picture. It was coming out very purple on the
Yeah, it
camera.
was a very colourful show. That's why I wasn't too bothered. It wasn't very, I don't think it was very visual with the naked eye.
Yeah. With the naked eye, it was quite the clear patch looked the sky looked quite bright. It looked
Yeah,
quite white and bright, and I'm so used to dark skies. It was
yeah,
quite
yeah.
interesting to see how like bright the sky looked. But in regards to color, you couldn't pick any color out with the naked eye.
Yeah, it was just, I'm pretty sure, it was just the way the night went. I was always like looking at stats. It just kind of, it exploded about like over kind of like Russia, Scandinavia, and then it just went diffuse. And it was so big, it just kind of was just diffuse and pulsing over us. So it was just a lot of people catching, the odd wee pillar, but nothing, I don't think it was too like strikingly dancing across the sky.
Yes, there wasn't
Um,
structure or any. Yeah.
yeah, so I mean, it looked phenomenal, but the whole sky was just colourful. It was just a big diffuse, just
Yeah.
sky over us, which is awesome. And we'll definitely always take that when we can.
Oh no,
But I
yeah,
remember
it's
the
cool, but
one
not
in,
so good for time lapses, is it really? If you haven't got.
yeah, so not too bothered. I'd rather kind of get the explosion rather than just the colours. Oh, we still got you. Oh, hello. Were we
Yeah,
talking about anything in particular there? Can't remember. It's Northern
it,
Lights, I think.
we were just talking about that last Aurora display. That was, I think it was
Yeah,
in.
that was all over. Because I remember the one, I think a few weeks before that, like this was where this was taken. It was amazing clear skies, and then I think it was the next day you were going up to Skye and stuff, and that was fun. I think everyone and their dog was in the Isle of Skye that night to see something, and I think it got a good show, but I think there was a lot of cloud, wasn't there?
Yeah, that was the night. That was the night of traveling to the Isle of Skye. The Aurora forecast was spectacular. It
That
looked
was mental. Yeah.
like it was going to be a good display. And what I did was I checked the whole of the UK weather-wise to see where the clearest skies were. Because
Yeah.
I thought to myself, with an aurora forecast that good, I thought it's worth traveling to a clear sky somewhere.
Yeah.
And it was the Highlands of Scotland that had the clearest patch, which is
Yeah.
ideal because it's further north, so it was
Yeah.
ideal.
Let's go. Yeah, even better.
Yeah, and I thought to myself, should I do it? Should I not? And I thought, yeah, well, I quite like being spontaneous with photography, so I just jumped in the car. I didn't really prepare that much. I just went for it,
Yeah.
and my camera was already got all the camera gear in the car, and just went. And I
Yeah.
drove up towards the place you recommended. I drove to Lochbar,
Walk
just
by.
north of
Yeah. That's beautiful.
Lochbar. A beautiful place, really nice. And
Yeah.
the forecast is clear. And I sometimes trust the Met Office far too much. I use the Met Office app, and I trust it quite a lot because it's usually
Uh-huh.
been right over the years. And I thought,
Yeah.
right, the Met Office is staying clear all night. I'll go there. I'll take some nice pictures. Fantastic. And I got
Yeah.
there about 4 hours from Northumberland to get to Lochbar.
In
And
hell.
yeah, 4 hour drive. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
And I got there and it was clear and it was just starting to get dark. So I
Oh,
was
I
there.
think I remember you sent me a pic, and you could just see green coming.
Yeah, you could just about see a bit of green. So I was in a lay-by initially, and then I was going to venture out and find a nice composition for a shot.
Yeah.
And yeah, I just tested to see if the aurora was there first of all,
Yeah.
and I took a quick test shot, and there it was. There was a bit of green, and it wasn't even dark yet. So the fact
Yeah.
that
You're like, here we go.
this is going to be great, and I swear to you, right after that picture, it
Yeah.
instantly clouded up. Like
Yeah.
it was one of those nights where the cloud just grew and it clouded up completely.
Oh,
And so it's
God.
like no chance. And because I trust the Met Office so much, I waited there for about 2 hours or something because
Right.
the forecast said it was going to be completely clear in that location. And I thought, well, it can't be. Surely it's going to clear up at some point. So I just
Yeah.
waited and waited and waited. And then, of course, I had you sending me messages saying that it was visible further north. And
Yeah.
also one of our, because Kielder Observatory, we have a big group of volunteers because we're a charity. And one
Nice.
of those volunteers is a massive aurora hunter. She's called Julie, and she's in Iceland like 5 times a year. She loves it.
Okay.
And she was
Good.
messaging me. In fact, Julie is my very own Aurora app. She's fantastic. She knows exactly
Yeah.
what's going on. And
Good. Yeah.
she said, "Oh, Dan, there's people catching it in the Isle of Skye right now." I was like, "Okay, right. Do I do it? Do I drive further?" And I
Oh.
thought, "I'll just do it. I've traveled this far now." So it was getting on towards midnight, but by the time I left Lochbar, and I thought, right, I'll just go to the Isle of Skye. It was something like an extra 2 hours or 2.5 hours or something to get
Yeah.
there. And I got I got there, and
I can't believe that sun journey.
it was cloudy, right? It was cloudy. So it was about 2:30 in the morning or something it was.
Oh,
And I
God.
was on the Isle of Skye. I was 6 hours from home. And I had no like bedding or sleeping bags or anything like that.
No.
And yeah, I thought it was frustrating. But I slept in a lay-by, just in the car, just
Yeah.
wrapped in my jackets and slept for a few hours.
Did you see
But
anyone else? Any other cars?
no,
Because
I didn't see
just where
any.
you were, because someone put a post on, it was one of the Scotland Aurora groups. There was some loch, and you could just see loads of cars along this lay-by, and people with tripods. I'm like, oh my God.
Well, actually, Lochbar, where you recommended, that was full of
Was it?
people. And there was so many people there. The lay-by that I was sitting in, there was about 3 camper vans pulled up, or like van type vehicles, and there was
Yeah.
about 30 people got out of them, and they were looking for the Northern Lights, and it was so busy. And
Yeah.
I thought to myself, if it does clear up, I'm never going to get a shot here because there was so many head
So,
torches.
yeah. Yeah. You
Uh,
want to be alone, really.
Exactly. But yeah,
Yeah.
I mean, it was an experience. And what I've got to say is when I woke up the next morning, I've never been to the Isle of Skye, and the views were superb when I woke up. I
Yeah.
couldn't believe how
Call it a
beautiful it was.
scouting trip. You were just scouting
Yeah,
to see what it's like for
just
future
scouting,
adventure.
just scouting. Over 100 quid in fuel to get up there.
Yeah.
And
Yeah. I remember them tonight because this was the night just before it. And it was absolutely bonkers, crystal clear, lovely moon and so lit up foreground. You couldn't have just got anything better. And then
Yeah.
yeah, as you said, activity was great. So my phone was like going berserk and just people were and we go see it in Perth. And I'm like, no. And I was knackered because I was up all night but literally this was going on all night and I shot the Milky Way with the Northern Lights as well. So I had no sleep that night, so I didn't bother driving like hours for the clear skies.
Yeah.
So everyone was just kind of going around like Perth looking for clear skies, and there just wasn't any. It was just all farthest west you could go.
Yeah.
But the amount of shows that we've had at the end of this year, I think if this is what solar maximum's like, it's going to be very good. It's going to
Exactly.
be great.
Exactly. Yeah. So I think where we are heading up now, aren't we, to solar maximum in the next year or two. So
Yeah.
I
So it'll
think
be
I think
phenomenal.
yeah, we should get some more. So I'm thinking more more
Yeah.
trip to the Isle of Skye in the future.
Yeah. Scotland's
When-
lovely. We've just come to more to Scotland for Northern Lights. It's beautiful. I think in the next few years as well, just speaking of next few years, there's a few more things. There's like more, I don't know if there's lunar eclipses, but there's like a solar eclipse and stuff like that. Got plans for that?
I haven't got any plans for it. I know there's a solar eclipse in the USA, isn't there? In
Yeah.
next year. I haven't got plans for that one, but I do fancy the one in Iceland in 2026.
Ooh.
It's on the 12th of August in Iceland. It's actually on the night of the Perseid meteor shower on the
All
day
right,
that.
okay.
But the only thing is, in Iceland in August, it doesn't get dark, so
Yeah,
we'll not be able to see that at the same time. But that one is the one that I'm looking forward to. I haven't fully planned what that'll be like, but if I remember correctly, I think the total eclipse will be relatively low in the sky, so it'll be
I
quite.
was gonna say, would it be like at night when it's, midnight sun sort of thing?
So you've got like you'll have like a foreground, so you could have like maybe a mountainous Icelandic foreground,
Yeah, yeah.
solar eclipse above it. So I think that's the one I'm looking forward to.
That'd be cool. That would be really cool. There's just even thinking just in Iceland, like horses, there's horses everywhere there. You could get horses in front of it and
Yeah,
that'd be
yeah,
really cool. Yeah,
it-
because yeah, there's a solar eclipse. I was chatting to another guy a few days ago. He was saying there's a solar eclipse is total in Spain, but Britain will have like roughly about 80%. So even Spain's, very accessible to
yeah.
get to.
I think that might be the same one I've just been mentioning.
Is it?
So yeah, I think what
All
it
right.
does, what it does is it's visible in Spain. Then I think it kind of arcs around the UK, so we don't
Oh,
see. So we don't see. Then it goes up towards Iceland.
all right. I thought there'd be because well, that'd be a weird line, eh? So just yeah,
Yeah,
just
yeah,
totally avoids the UK. Just nah.
yeah. I think it's the same one. I'd have to
All
double
right.
check. But I'm pretty sure it's the same eclipse. And
All right. Okay.
I think in parts of the UK it could be reaching up to 90% covered. So in the
That's
UK,
decent enough.
it'll be nice. We'll see a crescent sun, but you'll still have to use like eclipse glasses
Yeah,
or
yeah. Solar filters and stuff. Yeah, I've got a man-made
to catch.
solar. Where's mine? Let's have a.
Nice.
It's like
You know
a.
what? You know
It's just made off of Amazon.
that's the exact same as mine. Mine's made out of cardboard, and I put it on the front
Yeah,
of my long
yeah. Bit of
lens.
duct tape, bit of cardboard.
Yeah,
£10 off Amazon. Brilliant.
it's
Does the
fantastic.
job pretty
Nice
much.
and easy. But
Yeah.
I think that eclipse is one of those ones where it might just be worth jumping over to Iceland and watching the total
Yeah.
eclipse,
Yeah,
But
that'll be quite a fun time. Definitely in August as well. Something to do in August.
yeah,
Which is
absolutely.
pretty cool. What else? What else have I seen? I've seen you capture like zodiacal lights and stuff like that. And one of the photographers actually like it as well, because I like it as well, and everyone just goes, "Oh, it's rubbish." I'm like,
Yeah,
"Seen you get good pictures."
it's a tough one to get. It's a tough one to get. You do need very dark skies.
Yeah,
Um, I quite like it. I quite like the challenge of getting it. I prefer it more when there's some planets visible. So if you've got
yeah,
like,
you get planets in it.
yeah, you get that lovely sort of triangular arc of light. Sorry, like kind of
Yeah,
protruding from the horizon, and then you have maybe a couple of planets in there as
yeah,
well. I particularly like catching it in February, March time, around that time of the year.
yeah. It's good because yeah, springtime. It's got Orion in it, and it's quite nice. You can line it up with Orion, really nice.
You
I,
can,
I
you,
think I swear I've seen it. Well, it was the east coast of Scotland. It was across the North Sea, so you couldn't get any darker. But I could see like this bulge with my eye. Well, I swear I can see this zodiacal light with my eye. Although it's incredibly faint. But I picked it up and got like my best shots of it. But I swear I could like see it. You just see this ball of light, kind
Well,
of.
you can see it. You can see it with the naked eye, but you have to be somewhere dark. I've never seen it in Northumberland. I must admit. Maybe if I convince myself, I've seen it with the naked eye, but certainly on camera, I can pick it up no problem in Northumberland. It's dark enough. But when I was in Chile, I was in Chile in 2015.
Nice.
I was in the Atacama Desert. I was right next to the VLT, the Very Large Telescope.
Very large telescope. Love that name.
It's a great name, isn't it?
Have they not got
And
an ELT, extremely large telescope as
they
well?
have, yeah,
Yeah, nice.
that's currently being constructed now. The ELT, that's like
ELT.
got like a 40-meter mirror. It's gonna be
Jesus.
insane. But when I was there in Chile, I could see the zodiacal light, no problem at all.
Yeah.
So obvious with the naked eye. But something else I could pick out as well was the Gegenschein. I don't know if you know of
Oh, that's the one the opposite side, isn't it?
it's at the opposite side, so it's at the opposite side of the sun, so it's exactly opposite the sun in the sky.
Ah. Yeah, I've never captured that. I've never even kind of looked for that.
I convinced myself I could see it with the naked eye because it was so dark.
Nice.
But
Yeah.
on camera, no problem. You could see it, no problem at all.
Oh.
It was pretty good. Back in 2015, though, I was only really just starting out in astrophotography, so I wasn't as good. So
Yeah.
I didn't really get many fantastic shots, but
Okay. It's being experienced down there, that's, a world-class place as well.
it was wonderful. It was a great place to just learn and try and pick up tips and get into astrophotography. You
Yeah.
certainly,
Oh, I'd love to do that one day. Oh,
I'd
amazing
highly
to see the
recommend it.
Milky Way like overhead.
Well, that's the thing, isn't it? In the southern hemisphere, is seeing this thing, the galactic center,
Yeah.
is just
Amazing. Even seeing I keep forgetting the Magellanic Clouds. Like, can you see them with the naked eye?
oh yeah, no problem at all, no
Yeah,
problem.
it just looks like a big, like Andromeda, just a big
Yeah,
thing.
one thing that struck me when I was there was seeing the globular clusters with the naked eye. So there's two globular clusters in the southern hemisphere that are visible to the naked eye. There's 47 Tucana and there's Omega Centauri, and
Yeah,
I just couldn't believe that you could see them with the naked eye. They just look like little
yeah,
fuzzy blobs of light, but they
yeah,
were and seeing them because we took a telescope down with us. We actually flew a telescope all the way down there, and we
nice.
just for visual work really, and just for
Yeah,
enjoying and looking at the treasures of the southern sky because we don't see them very often up here, but we don't see them
yeah,
enough up here because they're in the southern
yeah,
hemisphere. So it was quite nice to experience them under dark skies and see them with your
yeah.
eyes.
Oh, it's because it's just a different world, obviously down there. I'm completely used to just Scotland. I've only seen Scotland skies, Norway skies, and Iceland skies. But to see like the southern hemisphere, like to see Orion upside down, would just freak me out. I'm like, what the hell? It's just a different sort of planet down there.
And to not see the North Star.
Yeah. How do you deal with that for? Oh, yeah. Well, you have to do the Southern Crossy thing.
Yeah, you have to polar align to the southern pole, which is not as easy if
No,
you
you just have
polar
to
align.
point. Do you?
Yeah,
That's like so. When if I do tracked exposures for landscape pictures, like a big Milky Way picture, I've got like a 14 mm on. I just point it like roughly to Polaris. I don't have to because it's quite wide. You don't need to. Do you still put it really accurate, or do you just kind of?
depends on the focal length that I'm using.
Yeah,
Like you say, if you're just doing a wide field tracked shot, just
yeah,
just having Polaris in the view in within the polar scope is
yeah,
enough.
yeah. Rather than going in and out, seeing where the actual true north is. Oh,
Yeah. And to be honest, I rarely image more than a minute or two.
yeah,
I don't really do
yeah,
anything than that if I'm doing a tracked exposure, so it doesn't have to be perfect. But what I tend to do is, I mean, I use a Star Adventurer, and if I am using it, I do normally just because it's a good habit. I do normally polar align it as precisely as I can because
yeah.
then I'll leave it there all night. And if I want to change what I'm doing, if I want to put like a longer lens on it or whatever, then I know that
Yeah.
it's polar aligned. So I'll
That's
tend to
true.
do that. Yeah.
Yeah, true. Yeah, and I just did like wide field with all this deep sky stuff and different layers of color, merging it all together. Oh, it's just so
Yeah.
confusing. It looks so stressy on. I think it's more to do with the post processing than capturing because you need to know what you're doing post processing. Do you use any fancy softwares for? Do you, I just use Lightroom and Photoshop.
The post processing is the hard bit with that. I mainly Photoshop, and I normally use Deep Sky Stacker. That's the free software that
Yeah.
stacks your images there. But with Deep Sky stuff, I have dabbled in PixInsight, but it's something
Yeah.
that I want to get more into. I've played around with it, and it's fantastic. I mean, it's the stuff it does is unbelievable.
Yeah. Really
I,
helps you.
I used it many years ago, and it's quite a learning curve to use it. And because it's been a while since I've used it, I'll have to relearn it again because I don't really remember what I
Yeah.
used to do on it. But I think it is the one of the best bits of software out there to process deep sky images. But I think I'd only really use that if you're serious about your deep sky, if you
Yeah.
want to get really good at it, you know.
Yeah.
But I think there's no substitute for taking quality images first of all. I think mastering the art of capturing the images first of all is the
Yeah.
key. Is making sure your polar alignment is excellent, making sure that things like guide scopes, this
Yeah.
all comes out, and having dark skies and whatever else. If the data is good, then it makes it much easier for you to process
Yeah.
out.
Yeah, 100%. Yeah, get the good data and then it's it does it itself. What cameras do you use? Are you because looking at your picture, like the kind of my sort of taste of pictures, like I use the Sony's. Are you Sony as well?
Yeah, I'm
Yeah.
Sony now. Yeah,
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 because you can kind of tell it's got the same sort of, I don't know, colors and stuff.
yeah. The same vibe going on. Which
Yeah,
which
you can tell, you kind of
Sony?
tell.
Which one do you use?
It's A7S, so it's just the baby one.
Yeah.
It's kind of the baby of that alpha range, but it's phenomenal for me.
No, absolutely. I mean, you produce some awesome images, so yeah,
Thank
it's
you.
doing
Mhm.
a good job.
What Sony do you use?
I'm using the A7 III,
See,
so
three. Do you notice a diff? Have you used the A7S?
I haven't. No, it's
Oh,
this is the
so
only Sony I've used. You see, I was always a Canon user. I've always had Canon,
yeah,
and I used the Canon 6D for many years, and I love the Canon 6D.
yeah. A lot of people use that. Yeah,
It's such a legend of the astrophotography world. It
yeah. A
is.
lot of
It's
people still use that.
almost unintentionally became a legendary camera for astrophotography. And
Gosh,
I
yeah,
used it for 5 or 6 years. So all of my lenses were Canon fit lenses.
yeah,
And I think it was about 2018, 2019 time, I decided to jump to Sony. I really, because there was a lot of hype
yeah,
around the Sony Alpha
yeah. I
range.
think Sony they're really good in low light and video as well, stuff like that. And but
Exactly for videos. And I did it, and I just bought an adapter for my Sony lens, sorry, for my Canon lenses, and to put them on,
yeah,
and love it. And actually, only 2 or 3 weeks ago, I decided to sell all my Canon gear, and I've now switched to Sony. I've gone and bought some of the G Master Sony lenses
nice.
by selling all my Canon gear. I thought to myself, right, I might as well just jump in and go for it and have all the Sony
Yeah,
now.
got lenses. Yeah, I mean the
But
Sony lenses look phenomenal. Yeah, I
oh
used
yeah,
Samyang lenses.
Samyang lenses are great. I
Yeah, they're
think
great, good budget. They do the job really well.
yeah, they do such a good job. I had Sigma lenses for a while, so I really enjoyed the Sigma lenses.
Yeah.
But already with the Sony G Master lenses, I'm noticing a massive difference in the sharpness of the stars. The
Right,
star
okay.
is unbelievable. So even though I've only had them for 2 weeks, I'm already kind of thinking, oh yeah, these are good lenses. They're really nice. But now I've only got one camera, which is I'm sad about because I used Canon and Sony. But
Only one camera. How
yeah,
do you
yeah.
survive with one camera? Gosh, two's
Well,
not enough. Mm.
well, the thing is with having two cameras. The thing I loved about having two cameras is for meteor showers.
Yeah, yeah,
Meteor shower nights, you could have two cameras on the go. And then what I would do at Kielder, we've got a camera at Kielder as well. We've got a Canon 5D. So
yeah,
I I would have three cameras set up in all directions to try and catch
yeah.
some.
That was brilliant. Yeah, and just make sure no one's like within a mile of you for head torches and stuff because you've got everywhere shooting.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah. Geez, but yeah, I've just got two. I need one for like doing the wee videos and stuff nowadays. Nowadays,
That's
and
the thing, isn't
yeah,
it? If you do vlogs and stuff, you will need a
yeah. You need it for because if you're doing a time lapse or there's northern lights, you're wanting to shoot, but you want it to film. You're like, Jesus Christ, it's a
yeah, yeah.
nightmare under the stars.
You end up getting confused because you're like, oh, I want to do this and I want to do that, and sometimes you have to just commit to one thing if you've got
Yeah.
one camera and
Yeah,
just
I used to like go around just like a headless chicken, go doing so many things. But I think I'm just going there to get that picture. That's it.
Yeah,
Because it is, it just there's so much to capture once, and we're going to do
exactly.
this forever. So
Do
we've
you
got
ever
the whole
find,
life to do stuff.
yeah, yeah, exactly, yeah. Do you ever find when you go somewhere, you might have a composition in mind, you might like have an idea of what kind of image you want to catch, and
Uh-huh.
then you end up finding a much better composition that is way better than the one you had
Yeah,
in mind. I do
yeah,
that.
100%. And sometimes it's really accidental.
Yeah,
Like you
yeah,
just go and shoot that, like someone's kicking off there, and then you see a nice cut. I'm going, oh, I'm just going to go there, and then this just rock lines perfectly up with that river,
yeah,
and you're like, oh, this is amazing here, and
yeah,
it's
yeah,
just completely accidental. I remember that a few. It wasn't the best Milky Way shot. It was kind of heavily light polluted. And I just pulled in the car. I'm like, right, I'm just going. There's a nice wee bridge there and lovely river. I'm just going to shoot that. And then as I shot it, I couldn't really see the foreground because it was just grass. So I just thought it was grass. And then image loaded up on the screen, and there was this perfect log, just like kind of following the river. And I didn't. It's like I positioned it to like kind of go symmetry with the water, and it was just there. I was like, oh, it's
yeah.
just completely just randomness.
I do
But I
like
think,
that. Yeah,
yeah, but I think I definitely my genre. I like kind of the Scottish land, like just Scottish lochs. I just love Scottish lochs, and
yeah. I think you're spoiled for that, aren't you? Up there.
yeah, it's good in
Yeah,
Scotland, just lochs, but then this, summertime you get all the midges, which is not very great.
yeah,
At night.
we get them at Kielder as well. They're a nightmare at
Yeah.
Kielder.
Oh,
They're
yeah. Hellish. I don't know, wrap things up pretty much. What's your top astro memories? The things that live in your mind, like that was a good night under the stars. Everyone's got them famous ones they'll always remember.
Hmm. I think probably this image behind me now. I think hence why it's my background image.
Yeah, it's a beautiful image. Yeah.
Seeing the skies in La Palma were up there.
Yeah.
They were beautiful. I mean, I really
Yeah.
enjoyed that.
You do that again.
Yeah, I would absolutely do it again. Probably some of the more memorable nights as well are meteor showers. I do love a meteor
Yeah.
shower. I enjoy
Yeah.
having, there's something really nice about sitting there under the stars, watching countless shooting stars,
It was
and
beautiful.
having the camera clicking away in the background. You can
Yeah,
hear
you don't have to do anything.
in images, just taking the
Yeah,
time.
it'd be great. The observatory, other people watching it, and they're,
Oh
going
yeah,
mental as well.
it's unbelievable. Yeah, it's unbelievable. And there was one night in particular where I remember I was sitting at Sycamore Gap, which is probably the most photographed tree in the universe. It's in there. It's
Oh, is
like
that that? And
it's
it's like the mountains.
it's like the sort of gap, and there's a big tree in the middle of
Yeah,
it.
yeah,
That iconic Northumberland image. It is probably
yeah. I
the
bet you
most
for a Northern Light show, it'll be like a queue
well,
for
yeah,
that show.
yeah, because the Northern Lights is you can get it behind it, or you can do like
Yeah,
a Star Trail would be behind it as well. But I remember
yeah,
sitting there one night, and this was back in 2018, and it was for the Geminid meteor shower, and I
yeah,
probably saw over 300 meteors that night with the naked eye.
yeah,
I did like a composite image of like a radiant shot of the meteor shower, so you had
yeah.
all the
Coming
meteors
into you.
in one image behind the
Yeah,
tree. And that image is very popular amongst people. People seem to love that image, even
yeah,
all these years later. And that was a really good night. And it was also probably before that spot was super, super popular.
yeah.
Because now, if you go to that spot on a clear, moonless night, it is
Is it?
heat. There's photographers everywhere, and
Oh, see, I'd just stay clear of that. Screw
yeah,
that.
torches everywhere, and everybody's light painting with head torches. I hate light painting. I don't like light painting.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
and,
No, I'm not a fan of night light painting. Yeah, not
and
really.
you just can't go there now without, or if you're going to go there, you have to go like in the winter at 2 in the morning when people can't cope with being there.
Yeah,
That
can't
so
cope with being there. Yeah, I know you
yeah,
try and avoid the crowds. I think I remember the one place that's very famous, obviously, like Tromso. Went up photographing Northern Lights. The amount, like, I was with photographers, and the amount of stress they have to avoid other people because it's so busy up there with photographers chasing Northern Lights. It's just like you're trying to get away. You're constantly just moving away from people. And there's
I
any clear night in Tromso is just without any beach. You're just having to just try to get away from people. But it's quite funny because you're just like, "Oh, tourists, tourists, tourists," even though you're a tourist yourself.
yeah,
Um,
of course.
yeah.
You could always edit them out, couldn't you?
Yeah, pretty much. Um, that's pretty much any plans for the future, really? Just solar eclipses, maybe.
Yeah, I think solar eclipse is high up on the
Yeah,
agenda.
same. Got to start planning that.
I do vaguely remember the one in 1999, which
Alright.
was the last one that was seen in the UK. I think it
Wow.
was anyway. And it was visible in southern, I think it was visible in Cornwall, and it was visible in northern France. But I was only 8 years old, and
Yeah.
now luckily I was actually on holiday in northern France with family.
Nice.
I think we were camping or something. It's one of my earliest astro memories, I would say. And
Yeah.
I remember watching that eclipse, and everything went dark, and you could see.
Yeah, that would be amazing. Yeah. Oh,
I,
that's I've never experienced one before, so
I think you've got to. I don't vividly remember it, but I do remember it being quite magical.
yeah. That'd be a weird feeling just seeing like the planets in the middle of the day and I think all the birds like chirp and stuff or go quiet or something like that. All the
Exactly.
animals go weird.
My
Yeah,
only
no, that's definitely a
my
thing.
only worry about the next catching the next one, well, the one in Iceland is, I think as a photographer, you do sometimes forget to enjoy the moment, and you have. I mean,
Yeah.
I think total eclipses last for a maximum of 2 minutes or something.
Yeah.
So you have 2 minutes to get a
2 minutes
shot
to get this. Yeah. Well,
and to actually enjoy it as well at the same time.
yeah, the thing that stresses me, even thinking that, I literally just along the lines you're saying is, you got 2 minutes, and when that moon goes over the sun, all the exposures are different. We've never done that before, so
Exactly.
no one knows what the exposure is. What the hell?
Well, I've never imaged a total eclipse. I mean, I've imaged lunar eclipses. They're way easier
Yeah,
because
they're
lunar eclipses
beautiful. I love lunar
they last
eclipses.
hours and hours, so you can get
Yeah,
them.
they're gorgeous. I love them.
They are really nice. But a total eclipse, I mean, you can do those time lapses where it goes from like short
Yeah.
exposures to longer exposures. I'm actually not that good at them. I've never really done them, but
Uh,
uh, I'd be so concentrated on trying to get the
yeah.
exposure correct during
Yeah.
that the minutes of
Yeah. Oh,
totality.
it's stress.
I'm really really stressed.
Yeah, that is stressy. I mean, any pretty much like good thing that's happening, like obviously that it's going to happen. You can plan it, it's going to happen, and yeah, you just get stressed. Like if there's a big northern light show over Scotland, it's guaranteed to be clear. It's not like, all right, I'm going to go and get the northern lights. I'm like, right, I'm thinking now. Don't talk to me. I need to. It's stressful until
Yeah,
it's over,
it is
pretty
really.
much. But we love it all the time.
We're sort of like chatting here about, oh, I can't wait to go to Iceland and do all this. But then you
Yeah.
think it could be cloudy in the whole of Iceland that day.
That's the thing. But yeah, so that day, you've made a journey to Iceland, and you're sitting there waiting for like clouds to clear. You'll be the most stressful person. You'll be like, oh, but
Absolutely.
yeah, but it's
All
good
that
fun.
money to get there, all that effort.
Yeah, but when you get the result, it's always worth it.
Exactly.
I love getting home and editing pictures and stuff. Oh, and you get a good picture. It's amazing to see.
Yeah.
Pretty much, yeah.
It
But yeah,
is.
that's about it, roughly. Pretty much. Thank you very much for chatting. I'll let you get back to your.
No
I'm
problem.
sure
Thanks
you're.
for
Are you working tonight?
yeah, and just chill out day to day after that long
Yeah.
night
Yeah.
photography.
So is the observatory open in the summer?
Yeah,
Kind of.
we're open most nights of the year. I think we're only closed like 5 nights, 6 nights a year
You just
during.
kind of do more things indoors since it's bright. Really, I can't really.
We do solar observing events, so we've
Oh, nice.
got big solar filters for the telescopes that we can.
Yeah, that'll be good because the sun's getting a lot of sunspots and stuff just now. Eh?
Exactly, it looks fantastic. But we also do more stuff for the kids during the school holidays. So we do things like we set rockets off and we
Yeah,
do models of the solar system and all that kind of thing. So we do more summer activities, but we also do late night stargazing events as well.
yeah,
Even if it's not fully dark, you can still see some of the brightest stars
bright
and
stars and stuff. Yeah,
there's noctilucent clouds. We can do double stars and some of the star clusters are visible. So we can
yeah.
still observe.
Endless things up there.
There is, yeah. It's just a shame the planets aren't hanging around in the summer at the minute. They're more towards the autumn time.
True. Summers are always good for planets, aren't they? Well,
Yeah,
normally, just the way
well,
they've been.
it depends on where they are in their
Yeah, it
orbit.
depends where they are. Yeah,
I've been hanging around in the summer skies for the last 4 or 5 years or so because Saturn's been hanging around there.
Yeah.
But they're gradually moving now, and they're now heading more towards the autumn time rather than
Yeah.
well, maybe late summer we'll start
Aye,
seeing
no,
them.
planets are awesome. I mean, you've still got Venus, I suppose.
Yeah,
That's
Venus.
Venus feels like it's been in the sky for it goes like that. It's been in the skies for months, and then you'll get a few weeks, it'll just go poof, it'll
Oh
be
yeah,
away.
start going. Yeah, as we orbit around the sun and as it moves as well. Venus is, yeah, you're right. It just kind of is there for a little while and then all of a sudden.
And then it'll just go woof, and then it'll be in the morning sky. You're like, oh, it's round there now. It's quite
I
good
do love it.
to
It's
watch it.
beautiful.
Yeah, I love Venus. Venus is beautiful to capture.
Great,
Big
great with it.
conjunctions.
It is. I looked at it through the big telescope at work the other day, and it's just over half full, and it's beautiful. It's like
Is it? Yeah,
looks like
it's
a
a wee
little.
gem.
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
lovely. I like observing it during the daytime actually. So when it's broad daylight, and because the
Can you see it
telescope.
when
Oh yeah,
it's like the sun's in the sky? Yeah.
yeah. It's nicer because you get a nicer contrast.
Yeah. But can you see it when it's like full daylight, or do you have to wait till it's a wee bit low?
Full daylight, yeah, because the
Oh wow.
scopes are robotic, so they'll just find it automatically.
Oh,
Um,
and you can just see a wee white speck.
no, you can see the full on kind of
Oh. And then when
it's
you can see it in like bright daylight, then you can see it in twilight and that.
better for the contrast. If you look at it at night time when it's dark, it's so
Yeah.
bright that
It's
it
so
just
blown out, yeah.
it's a very bright Venus. But in the daytime, it's almost like you can see cloud structures.
Wow.
You,
Yeah.
you, you can use certain filters and things that
Yeah.
enhance
Yeah.
detail.
I've seen like Jupiter and Saturn like with blue behind them. You can see Jupiter for quite a while. So
Yeah.
sunlight-ish. Yeah. Cool. Well, hopefully. Right, yeah. Well, thank you very much.
No
Hopefully,
problem.
I'll love to come to the Kielder Observatory one day.
Yeah, you can. Yeah, just come along. Let me know.
It does look pretty awesome. But yeah, no, I love your work. Your work's definitely up my street sort of thing. It's the sort of stuff I like as well. Wide field stuff.
Yeah, you too. You too.